We're continuing to track the federal lawsuit challenging California's Proposition 50, the ballot measure to temporarily redraw state congressional lines.
Today was day 2 of a 3-day hearing, and we're learning more about why a key voice in the case did not take the stand. ABC 10 State Matters political reporter Jenny Ha is here now with the latest. Jenny.
Testimonies are wrapped up and closing arguments will be presented Wednesday morning. All eyes are on Paul Mitchell, the map drawer himself. Court records show a near 40-person witness list, including Mitchell, Assembly Speaker Robert Rivas, and former Senate Democratic leader Mike McGuire. Rivas and McGuire ultimately were not called to testify. California Republicans and the U.S. Department of Justice are suing California over Proposition 50, the counter to Texas's mid-decade redistricting to give Republicans 5 more seats by temporarily drawing its congressional maps to give Democrats a 5-seat advantage. The lawsuit alleges new maps unconstitutionally use race to advance political interests favoring Hispanic and Latino voters in gerrymandering.
I'm not sure whether or not that line of argument is relevant today in light of the U.S. Supreme Court's decision on the Texas redistricting.
Despite concerns over race in Texas's maps, that they were, on the contrary, suppressing minority votes, the Supreme Court upheld their redistricting, saying it's for political purposes.
Republicans are saying that what Paul Mitchell has done as the architect of these maps is that he has gone in there with an idea of increasing Latino representation. What Paul Mitchell and the Democrats are saying is that, no, you've got it backwards. What we did is that we drew lines to increase Democratic representation, and it just so happens, as a byproduct, you have more Latinos in a certain district.
Republicans have attempted multiple times to get Mitchell to testify, saying Mitchell allegedly told groups that he considered race as a primary factor in drawing the new maps. According to court records, Mitchell was subpoenaed earlier this month and gave a 7-hour deposition, but filings by the other side state Mitchell often refused to answer questions, invoking legislative privilege.
Evidence related to legislators, why they voted, how they voted, etc., is not admissible in court when it deals with official legislative proceedings.
Legislative analyst Chris McKaylee says that privilege in some cases applies to staffers, which Mitchell is not. Republicans requested further documents and deposition, and that if Mitchell doesn't provide more, which he didn't, the court should draw an adverse inference, a negative assumption about the defending parties, including Governor Gavin Newsom and Secretary of State Shirley Weber. From the get-go, Newsom and Weber have asked that the court doesn't apply any negative conclusions on Mitchell to them, as Mitchell is a non-party.
Because it's not the words of the governor or legislators who are actually involved.
How does that make sense when Paul drew the maps at the request of the governor?
A judge is going to have to determine whether or not to compel Paul's testimony.
Again, Mitchell's testimony ultimately was not compelled. When asked about Paul Mitchell at an unrelated press conference Monday, Newsom said he'll leave it to the lawyers. Mitchell declined to comment further on an ongoing lawsuit. Laura.
All right, Jenny, thank you.